Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling strangely drained without knowing why? Nothing obvious was said. No argument, no insult, and yet your peace was gone. Here's a hard truth most people miss. Not all harm is loud. Some people don't attack you directly. They poison your peace in silence. They smile. They sound reasonable. Sometimes they're even close to you. And that's what makes them dangerous. Stoic philosophy teaches us something uncomfortable but powerful. It's not events that disturb us, but our failure to recognize what's quietly eroding our inner order. In this video, you'll learn 9 silent signs that someone may be slowly disrupting your peace, without confrontation, without drama, and without you noticing. This isn't about blaming or cutting people off impulsively. It's about awareness, clarity, and protecting your inner world with discipline. Stay with me, because once you see these signs clearly, you can no longer unsee them. Sign 1. You feel drained after every interaction. Have you ever noticed how some conversations leave you feeling lighter, clearer, and more grounded, while others leave you exhausted, tense, or strangely irritable? That difference matters more than most people realize. One of the clearest silent signs that someone is poisoning your peace is this. You feel emotionally drained after every interaction with them. Not occasionally, not after conflict, but consistently. There may be no argument, no harsh words. In fact, on the surface, the interaction might seem normal. You talk, you listen, you respond politely. And yet when it's over, your energy is gone. Your mind feels crowded, your chest feels heavy. You need time alone just to recover. From a Stoic perspective, this is not accidental. The Stoics believed that our inner energy, our attention, emotional capacity, and mental clarity is a finite resource. When someone repeatedly leaves you depleted, it often means the relationship is one-directional. They unload, they vent, they seek validation, reassurance, or control, and you absorb. Over time, this creates an imbalance. You give presence, they take peace. Marcus Aurelius warned that allowing others to disturb your inner state repeatedly is not kindness. It is neglect of the self. Not everyone who drains you does so intentionally, but intent is irrelevant to impact. Stoicism is not about judging motives. It is about observing effects. Or ask yourself honestly, after spending time with this person, do I feel calmer or more tense? Do I feel seen or used? Do I feel restored or emptied? Your body often recognizes the truth before your mind is willing to accept it. Chronic fatigue after specific interactions is information. Stoicism teaches us to treat information seriously, not emotionally. The mistake many people make is trying to fix this by explaining themselves more, giving more, or being more patient. But more exposure to what drains you does not build strength. It erodes it. The Stoic response is simple, but not easy. Reduce access. Not with drama, not with confrontation, and not with long explanations. You don't need to accuse, you don't need to justify. You simply begin to limit how much of your time and energy this person can consume. Shorter conversations, less emotional availability, more space between interactions. This is not coldness. This is discipline. And a Stoic does not sacrifice inner order to maintain external harmony. Peace is not something you negotiate after it's gone. It is something you protect before it's taken. Remember this principle. If someone consistently leaves you depleted, your distance from them is not rejection. It is self-respect. Your peace is not infinite. Treat it like the valuable asset it is. Sign 2. Control is disguised as care. One of the most deceptive ways someone poisons your peace is by hiding control behind the language of concern. On the surface, they don't seem harmful at all. In fact, they may appear thoughtful, protective, even supportive. They say things like, "I'm just worried about you," or "I only want what's best for you." But slowly, something shifts. You begin to notice that your decisions are questioned more than they are respected, and your choices are subtly doubted. Your confidence starts to erode, not through direct criticism, but through constant guidance you never asked for. This is control disguised as care. From a Stoic perspective, true care strengthens another person's agency. It does not replace it. When someone repeatedly inserts their opinion into your decisions, frames your independence as recklessness, or treats your judgment as flawed unless it aligns with theirs, they are not protecting you, they are managing you. The danger here is subtle, because it feels kind, because it sounds reasonable, and because society often praises people who know better and look out for others. But Stoicism draws a hard line. No one has the right to live your life for you. Epictetus taught that freedom begins with ownership of your own choices. Now, the moment you allow someone else to routinely override your judgment for your own good, you surrender that freedom, one small decision at a time. Pay attention to these patterns. They frame disagreement as irresponsibility. They react emotionally when you choose differently. They push advice even after you've made your decision. They seem more uncomfortable with your independence than with your mistakes. Over time, this kind of interaction trains you to hesitate, to second-guess yourself, and to look outward for permission instead of inward for clarity. That hesitation is the poison. The Stoic response is not rebellion, it is calm assertion. You do not argue, you do not over-explain, you do not defend every choice. You simply decide and let the decision stand. Short, grounded responses restore balance. "I've thought about it, and this is my choice. I appreciate your concern. I'll handle this. I'm comfortable with this decision." No anger, no performance, just clarity. And if the behavior continues, the Stoic lesson is clear. When words fail, distance teaches. Reducing how much access someone has to your decision-making process is not punishment, it is protection. Remember this distinction. Care supports your strength. Control feeds on your doubt. Anyone who truly cares about you wants you capable, not dependent. Calm, not cautious. Grounded, not guided at every step. Your life is not a project for someone else to manage, and your peace depends on remembering that. Sign 3. You start doubting yourself. Around them. One of the most dangerous signs that someone is poisoning your peace is not loud conflict or obvious manipulation. It's something much quieter and far more corrosive. You begin to doubt yourself whenever you're around them. At first, the doubt is subtle. You replay conversations in your head, wondering if you explained yourself poorly. You question your reactions. You second-guess decisions that once felt clear. Over time, what used to be confidence turns into hesitation. Nothing dramatic happened. No clear attack. Just a slow erosion of trust in your own judgment. This is often the result of subtle psychological pressure, sometimes intentional, often not. The person may frequently reframe events in a way that makes you feel too sensitive, misinformed, or confused. They might downplay things they said, deny obvious implications, or respond to your concerns with statements like, "No, that's not what I meant," or "You're reading too much into it." The result is simple but devastating. Your inner compass begins to spin. Stoic philosophy places immense importance on reason, your ability to perceive reality clearly and judge it calmly. When someone repeatedly causes you to distrust your own perception, they interfere with the very faculty Stoicism trains you to protect. Marcus Aurelius warned against allowing others to disturb the ruling center of the mind. And when you lose confidence in your own reasoning, you no longer respond to life. You react to uncertainty. Ask yourself, do I feel more confused after speaking with this person? Do I feel the need to justify my feelings or reactions to them? Do I leave conversations feeling unsure of what actually happened? If the answer is yes, pay attention. The Stoic response is not to argue about who's right. That only deepens the fog. Instead, Stoicism teaches clarification through facts. And after an interaction, quietly ground yourself. What was said? What actions actually occurred? What did I feel and why? Writing this down, briefly without emotion, often restores clarity. Facts cut through confusion. Patterns reveal themselves when you stop debating and start observing. Another crucial Stoic discipline here is resisting the urge to seek validation from the very person causing the doubt. Explaining yourself repeatedly to someone who undermines your clarity only reinforces the imbalance. You begin to ask for permission to trust your own mind. That permission should never be outsourced. The most powerful boundary in these situations is internal. You decide that your perception matters, that your experience is real, that confusion is not something to be negotiated away. It is a signal. And once the signal is clear, your response becomes measured. You share less. You explain less. As you rely more on your own reasoning, not out of hostility, out of self-respect. Remember this Stoic principle. A mind at peace trusts itself. Anyone who consistently leaves you doubting your reality does not deserve unrestricted access to your inner world. Peace begins when you stop questioning your sanity and start honoring your clarity. Your thoughts are not the problem. The environment shaping them might be. Sign 4. They quietly feed on drama. Not all drama is loud. Some of it whispers, lingers, and spreads tension without ever raising its voice. One of the clearest signs that someone is poisoning your peace is this. There is always emotional disturbance around them, even when nothing is technically wrong. Conversations with them rarely feel neutral. There's always an edge, an undercurrent of tension, dissatisfaction, or subtle urgency. Small issues are treated like crises. Neutral events are framed as problems. Calm moments never last because something must always be discussed, analyzed, or worried about. This is not coincidence. Some people are uncomfortable with peace. From a Stoic perspective, inner turmoil seeks company. A restless mind often tries to externalize its chaos by pulling others into it. Drama becomes a way to feel alive, relevant, or in control. And when someone feeds on drama, they don't need conflict, they only need emotional reaction. And pay attention to the patterns. They repeatedly bring up issues that could have been left alone. They speculate, assume, or read negative intent into neutral situations. They pull you into emotional conversations that lead nowhere. They seem energized by tension and bored by calm resolution. What makes this dangerous is that it feels subtle. There may be no yelling, no obvious hostility. Just a constant sense that peace is temporary and instability is normal. Stoicism teaches the opposite. To the Stoic ideal is inner stillness, a mind that does not chase emotional stimulation, whether positive or negative. Drama disrupts that stillness by demanding your attention, your reactions, your emotional energy. And here's the key insight. Drama survives on participation. When you react, explain, defend, or emotionally engage, you feed it. When you don't, it withers. The Stoic response to this sign is disciplined restraint. You stop matching their emotional tone. You stop amplifying minor issues. You stop reacting to speculation as if it were fact. Instead, you respond with simplicity, short answers, calm pauses, neutral acknowledgement without emotional investment, not coldness, control. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that many people act out of ignorance, agitation, or inner disorder. His discipline was not to correct them, but to remain undisturbed by them. If someone repeatedly tries to pull you into unnecessary emotional turbulence, ask yourself a serious question. Is my peace worth sacrificing for this interaction? Often, the most powerful boundary is not confrontation. It is non-participation. Over time, two things will happen. Either the behavior diminishes, because there is no emotional fuel, or the distance increases because peace and drama cannot coexist for long. Both outcomes protect you. Remember this Stoic rule. You don't need to extinguish every fire. Sometimes, you simply stop supplying oxygen. Peace is not passive. It is actively protected by those who refuse to live in emotional noise. If someone cannot sit comfortably in calm, do not let them turn your stillness into their stage. Sign 5. They disrespect your time when it doesn't benefit them. One of the quietest yet most revealing signs that someone is poisoning your peace is how they treat your time, especially when there is nothing in it for them. At first, it may seem minor. They arrive late, they cancel last minute. They interrupt your schedule with quick favors that are never actually quick. When you bring it up, they brush it off. It's not a big deal. You're overthinking it. But over time, and a pattern emerges. Your time is flexible to them, but theirs is untouchable. From a Stoic perspective, this is not a small issue. Time is not just minutes on a clock. Time is life itself. Seneca was explicit about this. People are careful with their money, yet careless with their time, especially other people's. When someone repeatedly disrespects your time, they are not just being disorganized. They are signaling something deeper, that your life, your priorities, and your boundaries are secondary to their convenience. Pay attention to these signs. They assume you're always available. They change plans without consideration. They contact you only when they need something. They react defensively when you protect your schedule. What makes this dangerous is that it often hides behind familiarity. Friends, colleagues, even family members may take advantage not because they are malicious, but because you've trained them unintentionally that access to you is unlimited. Stoicism teaches that self-respect is not declared, it is demonstrated through boundaries. If you consistently allow others to waste your time, you silently communicate that your time has little value. And when time loses value, peace follows. The Stoic response is not anger or lectures. It is alignment between words and action. You stop rearranging your life for people who won't respect it. You stop over-explaining why your time matters. You let consequences do the teaching. That might look like ending conversations when they overrun, declining requests without guilt, not adjusting your schedule to accommodate disrespect. Simple, calm, consistent. Marcus Aurelius wrote about doing what is right without needing approval. Protecting your time falls squarely into that category. You don't need others to agree that your time is valuable. You need to act as if it is. And here's an important Stoic insight. People who benefit from your lack of boundaries will often resist them. That resistance is not a sign you are wrong. It is a sign the boundary is working. Over time, one of two things will happen. Those who respect you will adjust. Those who don't will drift away. Both outcomes restore peace. Remember this principle. How someone treats your time reveals how they value your life. You are not obligated to make yourself endlessly available. You're not required to sacrifice your structure to maintain harmony. Peace grows where time is honored, and anyone who repeatedly disrespects your time, especially when it costs them nothing, should not be surprised when their access to you becomes limited. That is not punishment. That is self-respect in action. Sign 6. They never take responsibility, only redirect blame. One of the most exhausting ways someone can poison your peace is by never taking responsibility for their actions. With them, nothing is ever their fault. There is always an excuse, always a justification, always someone else to blame. At first, you may overlook it. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has bad days. But over time, a pattern becomes impossible to ignore. Whenever something goes wrong, accountability disappears. So they blame circumstances, they blame misunderstandings, they blame other people, and sometimes, quietly, they blame you. From a Stoic perspective, this behavior is a serious warning sign. The Stoics believe that character is revealed not in comfort, but in moments of error. A person who cannot accept responsibility cannot grow, cannot correct themselves, and cannot be trusted to act justly. Pay attention to how this shows up. Apologies, if they exist, are conditional. I'm sorry you feel that way. Mistakes are reframed as inevitabilities. Conversations about accountability turn into debates. You leave feeling guilty for even bringing the issue up. This dynamic slowly destabilizes your peace. Why? Because when responsibility is avoided, clarity is sacrificed. Problems are never resolved. Tension lingers, and you are left carrying emotional weight that was never yours to begin with. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what is within our control, and another person's willingness to own their actions is not one of those things. Trying to force accountability through argument or explanation only deepens frustration. Here is the Stoic insight that changes everything. Patterns matter more than promises. Someone may speak convincingly. They may sound self-aware. They may even agree with you in the moment. But if their behavior never changes, their words are irrelevant. Now, the Stoic response is not to convince, it is to observe. You stop engaging in circular conversations. You stop defending your perception of events. You stop expecting resolution from someone who benefits from confusion. Instead, you take note. Does this person ever admit fault without being cornered? Do their apologies lead to change? Or does the same situation repeat again and again? When accountability is consistently absent, the Stoic chooses distance, not as revenge, but as protection. You limit how much responsibility you absorb on their behalf. You stop cleaning up messes you didn't create. This often feels uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to being reasonable, patient, or understanding. But Stoicism is not about being endlessly accommodating. It is about being just, to yourself included. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that it is not your role to fix others. Your role is to govern your own actions with integrity. See, that includes refusing to carry blame that does not belong to you. Remember this principle. Where there is no responsibility, there can be no trust. Peace requires clarity. Clarity requires accountability. If someone repeatedly avoids responsibility, they are telling you who they are, not with words, but with behavior. A Stoic listens carefully to that message, and when necessary, steps back, not angrily, not dramatically, but firmly. Because peace cannot survive in an environment where truth is constantly redirected, and responsibility is always somewhere else. Sign 7. They compete where there should be. No competition. One of the most subtle but damaging signs that someone is poisoning your peace is this. They turn your life into a quiet competition, even when there should be none. At first, it's barely noticeable. A comment here, a comparison there, a slight shift in tone when you share good news. They congratulate you, but something feels off. The words are right, yet the energy isn't. Over time, a pattern forms. Your achievements are minimized. Your progress is compared. Your struggles are measured against theirs. Nothing is openly hostile. There is no direct rivalry, but you sense that every conversation has an invisible scoreboard. From a Stoic perspective, this behavior is rooted in inner insecurity. People who are at peace with themselves do not need to measure their worth against others. Those who are not will do so quietly, often unconsciously. The danger is not the competition itself, and the danger is what it does to your inner state. Instead of feeling grounded, you begin to filter your words. You hesitate to share wins. You downplay your progress to avoid tension. Or worse, you start competing back even when you never intended to. This is how peace erodes. Stoicism teaches that comparison is a thief of clarity. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that each person walks a different path, shaped by different duties, capacities, and circumstances. And measuring your life against another's distorts judgment and breeds unnecessary agitation. Pay attention to these signs. They subtly shift the conversation back to themselves. They respond to your success with comparison, not curiosity. They seem uncomfortable when you improve or change. They keep mental track of who is ahead. This dynamic poisons peace because it replaces authenticity with performance. You stop being present, you start managing perception. And the Stoic response is quiet and disciplined. You share less. You explain less. You stop seeking acknowledgement from someone who views life as a contest. Not out of secrecy, but out of wisdom. Stoicism values inner progress over external validation. Growth does not need witnesses. In fact, many forms of growth are strongest when they happen in silence. Another key Stoic insight applies here. Envy reveals more about the observer than the observed. When someone competes with you unnecessarily, it is a sign of their own unrest, not a measure of your worth. You do not need to confront this behavior directly. Confrontation often feeds competition. Instead, you disengage from the dynamic altogether. You stop offering material for comparison. You stop reacting to subtle jabs. You remain calm, neutral, and self-contained. Over time, this creates a natural separation. Either the behavior fades because it no longer finds fuel, or the distance grows because peace and competition cannot coexist for long. Remember this Stoic principle. Your path does not require approval, comparison, or applause. A person who competes with you where there should be none cannot walk beside you in peace. That doesn't make them an enemy, but it does make them someone who should not have unrestricted access to your inner world. You are not here to prove anything. You are here to live well. And living well in Stoic terms means moving forward without constantly looking sideways. When you stop competing, you reclaim clarity. When you reclaim clarity, peace follows. Sign 8. They repeatedly ignore small boundaries. One of the most underestimated signs that someone is poisoning your peace is not a dramatic betrayal or a major violation. It's something quieter, slower, and often dismissed. They repeatedly ignore your small boundaries. At first, it doesn't seem serious. They interrupt you while you're speaking. They push conversations you've clearly tried to end. They joke about things you've said make you uncomfortable. And they ask for small favors after you've already said no. Individually, each action feels minor, easy to excuse, easy to overlook. But Stoicism teaches us to pay attention not to isolated events, but to patterns. And the pattern here is clear. Your limits are not being respected. From a Stoic perspective, boundaries are not walls built out of fear. They're expressions of self-knowledge. They communicate where your responsibility ends and where another person's begins. So when someone repeatedly steps over small boundaries, they are testing something, consciously or unconsciously. They are testing how much access they have to you. The danger lies in tolerance. When small violations go unaddressed, they teach the other person that your limits are flexible, negotiable, or meaningless. Over time, small violations rarely stay small. They escalate. Pay attention to these warning signs. You say no, and they keep pushing. You express discomfort, and they minimize it. Not you set a boundary once, but it is ignored repeatedly. You feel guilty for enforcing limits that should be respected. Stoicism reminds us that self-respect is not proven through endurance. It is proven through consistency. A boundary that is not enforced is not a boundary. It is a suggestion. The Stoic response here is decisive but calm. You do not argue about your boundary. You do not justify it emotionally. You do not restate it endlessly. You enforce it through action. And if someone interrupts, you stop engaging. If someone pushes after a no, you withdraw access. If someone disrespects your space, you create distance. This often feels uncomfortable, especially if you've been conditioned to prioritize harmony over self-respect. But Stoicism teaches that harmony built on self-erasure is not virtue. It is imbalance. Marcus Aurelius wrote about standing firm without hostility. This is exactly that. You're not punishing the other person. You are simply aligning your actions with your values, and here is the crucial insight. People who respect you do not need repeated explanations. One clear boundary is enough. Those who ignore it are not confused. They are choosing. Over time, enforcing small boundaries produces clarity. Some people adjust, others fade away. Both outcomes protect your peace. Remember this Stoic principle. Small violations reveal future intentions. And do not wait for a major betrayal to take your boundaries seriously. Peace is often lost not through dramatic moments, but through quiet, repeated concessions. When you honor your limits consistently, you send a powerful message without raising your voice. Your inner world is not open territory, and anyone who cannot respect small boundaries should not be trusted with bigger ones. That is not rigidity, that is wisdom. Sign 9. You feel more peace. When they're absent. The final sign is also the clearest, and the one most people try hardest to ignore. You feel noticeably more at peace when this person is not around. There is no argument, no dramatic event, no obvious wrongdoing you can point to. And yet, when they are absent, something inside you relaxes. Your breathing slows, your thoughts feel lighter, your body returns to a natural state of calm. This is not coincidence. This is information. Stoic philosophy teaches us to observe reality without embellishment or denial. And one of the most honest indicators of whether something belongs in your life is how your inner state responds to its presence or absence. If someone's absence brings peace, it means their presence was creating disturbance. Many people dismiss this sign because it feels uncomfortable to acknowledge. They tell themselves they are being unfair, ungrateful, or overly sensitive. And they search for logical justifications to override a very simple truth their nervous system already understands. But Stoicism does not teach us to betray clarity in the name of comfort. Epictetus reminded us that the body often reacts before the mind constructs explanations. When tension consistently disappears in someone's absence, it is a signal worth respecting. Not reacting to it does not make you more rational. It makes you less honest. So ask yourself quietly, do I feel calmer when I don't have to interact with this person? Do I feel more myself when they're not present? Does my peace return when distance appears naturally? If the answer is yes, then the question is no longer whether something is wrong, but what you will do with that knowledge. The Stoic response is not immediate confrontation, it is acceptance. Acceptance that not every relationship is meant to be maintained. To acceptance that peace is not something you must earn through endurance. Acceptance that distance does not always require explanation. One of the hardest lessons in Stoicism is this: you are allowed to choose peace without creating a narrative of blame. You do not need to prove the other person is wrong. You do not need to convince anyone else. You do not need closure through conflict. You only need alignment between your inner state and your choices. Often, the most stoic decision is the quietest one. Less contact, less access, fewer emotional investments. not because the other person is evil, but because the relationship no longer supports your inner order. Marcus Aurelius wrote about removing himself inwardly when external conditions became disruptive. This is that principle applied to human relationships. You withdraw not out of resentment, but out of wisdom. And here is the final truth many avoid. Peace is not weakness, and it is the result of accurate judgment. If someone's absence consistently brings clarity, calm, and balance back into your life, then continuing to grant them access is a choice, not an obligation. Choose carefully. Your inner world is where your life actually happens. Not everyone deserves a place there. When you honor the peace that appears in silence, you are not abandoning others. You are finally listening to yourself, and that is the most stoic act of all. Throughout this video, we've explored 9 silent signs that someone may be poisoning your peace. Not through open conflict, but through subtle patterns that slowly erode your inner stability. From emotional exhaustion and disguised control to ignored boundaries and the calm that appears in someone's absence, each sign points to the same truth. Peace is rarely lost all at once. It is usually worn down quietly. Stoicism does not ask you to judge, accuse, or create drama, and it asks you to observe clearly and respond with discipline. Awareness is the first step, but practice is what changes your life. Take a moment after this video to reflect. Think of one relationship that consistently leaves you tense, confused, or drained. Then ask yourself, not emotionally, but honestly, what level of access that person should have to your inner world. Remember, choosing peace does not make you cold or selfish. It makes you responsible. Your time, energy, and clarity are limited. And Stoic wisdom teaches us to guard what is valuable. If this video helped you see something more clearly, let that clarity guide your actions, not your guilt. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you found value here, consider liking the video and subscribing for more Stoic insights. And until the next one, stay steady, stay disciplined, and protect your peace.